I was in protection mode because they were basically food for any wildlife. So I would be protecting my kids from the baboons and from leopards.
Before she became VP of Program Strategy at Pivotal Ventures, which was founded by Melinda French Gates, Renee Wittemyer and her husband George ran an elephant research camp in northern Kenya. Was that pivot driven by life in the wild? Maybe. But what's for certain is this: Renee cannot go a single day without laughter.
It's something that I value as a leader too. I think that is so core. And we talk about like just bringing in the most inane types of things to our conversations, because that just keeps us human and keeps us laughing.
One belly laugh a day.
That's the key to my existence.
I'm Camila Rente, and this is Impact After Hours, a show about pursuing a life of impact on and off the clock. Renee, welcome to Impact After Hours.
Thanks, Camille. It's great to be here.
Let's start with elephants. Beautiful creatures, and I know you have a deep relationship connection to them. Was this before Pivotal Ventures?
This was long before Pivotal Ventures, yes.
What's the story there? What work have you done that's connected to elephants, and what's your favorite memory?
So when I was right out of college, I worked with someone in Kenya, and we started a elephant research camp in northern Kenya. That person now is my husband. Many, many years later, but we started this elephant research camp. He started studying this population of elephants individually, because you can look at an elephant and know that that's, Anastasia, and that's Queen Elizabeth. All of the elephants have names. And I, at that time, was working with all the communities surrounding this national park in Kenya. And that is actually the roots of how I became interested in the work that I do now, which is all around genders, because I was working with a lot of women's groups at that time. But it's a place that has been part of my life for many decades, and my kids also spend quite a bit of time there.
I was going to ask, because I think you sort of maybe set this sort of stage or world for them of, love for animals, love for nature, but also love for people. So when you brought them there, do you have like a favorite moment that you had with the elephants or at the camp?
Well, when they were very little, I was in protection mode because they were basically food for any wildlife. So I would be protecting my kids from the baboons and from leopards. And there is one moment when we were all sitting on top of a Land Rover, just being surrounded by elephants, and my husband's doing a bunch of audio recordings of them. And an elephant came up to the car, very gently took his trunk and moved my daughter so that he could grab some leaves off of a tree. And we just dove into the Land Rover and hid.
Okay, so I asked for a favorite memory. I don't know, maybe we should qualify that, but it is probably maybe something that you'll never forget, for sure.
It is a memory, a core memory, yes.
It sounds like a core memory that is also partly traumatizing, maybe for me, because I'm not that used to, being, with wildlife or like these types of animals as much as I want to. But Renee, we are here to have fun, as I promised you when we first met. And also just to mention that you met your husband, right, when you started working in Kenya and with the camp. You met my husband earlier. So I know how that dynamic is too. Like your partner with the work that you do, and then also your partner in life. So thought I'd drop that in. Before we also learn a little bit more about your work at Pivotal, I do want to kick us off with a lightning round of seemingly random questions. Are you ready to play?
I am ready. Yes, let's go.
Renee, what is your go-to song to boost your mood?
Go-to song? I would say anything by Beyonce. Cowboy Carter would be, my go-to generally.
This show, Impact After Hours, is like a love letter to Beyonce. Her name has been mentioned so many times on this podcast, and we will have a counter, and we will, have a clip of some sort where our guests just either mention going to a concert, seeing her, or being inspired by her. She is part of Impact After Hours. What's the one thing you can never leave the house without?
My phone.
Like most people.
Yeah, it's basic, but it's true.
Okay, well, speaking of phones, you just received news that is worth celebrating. Who's the first person you're calling?
I would probably call my husband, because he is the person that every morning we go on these walks with my dog, and we just debrief. It's kind of the one moment in the day that we get to talk, but he would be the first person I would call.
Have you shared any good news with him lately?
There's always good news related to my kids. So someone did really well in school, or someone did well in tennis or track or something like that. And it's the part that he's the person that who would be most interested to know.
Okay, so now we talked about memories earlier. Well, your one core memory that was pretty magical, but also, again, a little traumatizing. But let's talk about you and your memory from your childhood. What's one memory that you think about most often?
One memory I think about often is when I was 5 years old, going into first grade. My parents sent my sister and I off to India to live with my grandmother and my other two cousins from the United States. We all went together and with no parents. And so we just stayed with my grandmother in India for like 6 weeks. And I look back at that now as a parent, and I'm like, wow, that was so I don't know, it just seems like so foreign to me, but it was so formative as a kid to be like out in the world without parents, but with this gang of little kids. And so that is something that I just hold, and we're so bonded because of that.
I also have that same experience for some odd reason, but it's when I was younger. So I only have one sibling, my older sister, but I also have a cousin. So it's like we're three like young women, but my parents left to work abroad, to work in Japan, and so we were left with our grandma, who sadly passed actually this year, but. That's like a core memory for us because, it's another type of, I would say, caregiver or someone who, also helped raise you, but who are not your parents.
Yes.
So yeah, that's also a memory that I would say I keep going back to and will forever. Okay, so now we talk a little bit about like people who have inspired you or you're interested in. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, so would we consider Beyonce here? I'm not sure. Dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
I was just reading Jacinda Arden's book.
Mm-hmm.
Would love to have dinner with her because she is this incredible leader. She embodies so many of the values that I hold for myself in terms of supporting and advancing women, gender, and just speaking up and being courageous for her values. And so that is the person I would think of.
Is there anyone else that, we can sneak in?
I have a long list.
You have a long list.
I have a long list of people, yes.
Got it. So also wanted to mention, because I think this is very timely. Right now, it's Advertising Week in New York. And I was just in a session moderated by a phenomenal leader we work with. Her name is Telaine Montgomery. She is the CEO of New Profit. And on that panel was another guest of ours here at Impact After Hours. Her name is Stacey Houston. She runs 6degrees.org with Kevin Bacon. And of course, Kevin Bacon is there. But one topic or theme that I think maybe does not get spoken about that often is the role of laughter and comedy in the work that we do in social impact. One question that I have is, when was the last time you had a good laugh at work? Who did you share it with? And why do you think it's important for us to still have that be part of sort of our day-to-day, like the way we operate, and not think that that's, something that we should shy away from because our work is so serious?
I love this question because this is actually really important to me. Is I feel like I need like a good belly laugh, like at least once a day, like a really good one. And there's generally this happens because I work with the funniest people. They're so incredible, so capable, so smart, and they don't take themselves seriously. And so we just sit and laugh about things, even when things are not going well. And we just sit and laugh about the smallest things or even like big things. So it's something that I value as a leader too. I think that is so core. And we talk about like just bringing in the most inane types of things to our conversations, because that just keeps us human and keeps us laughing.
One belly laugh a day.
That's key to my existence.
If you have not listened to anything else in this episode, well, but which I hope not, but let's maybe try to be more conscious of that and how that actually is the fuel that we need, especially during these very difficult times, or, and work just in general can be very exhausting. So I will keep that in mind. Our team likes to laugh too and talk about frivolous things, really helps us actually also connect with each other. Okay, final question, Renee. This is Impact After Hours. What is your go-to after hours media? What have you been watching, reading, or listening to lately?
So because I have two teenagers, my cover is I need to keep watching the same shows as them to keep up with them and to have a dialogue and to be able to talk about it. But actually, in reality, I just also like watching those TV shows. And so I just finished with my daughter, The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is lowbrow and exactly the type of thing that she and I can then be like, oh my gosh, did you see what happened? And then I can also talk to her friends about it too.
Renee, I know we have to let you go soon and we need to wrap up, but I hate that you just mentioned The Summer I Turned Pretty as we're about to let you go, because it's one of these shows that I was completely obsessed with. We talked about this with another guest of ours when I asked this very question, and she was the first one. So you're the second one. But I was like, oh, I wish we had more time to talk about them and the characters and like how really addicting that show was for us, right?
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, so you don't share my obsession with it, which is all right, but at least you know about it. And anything that you've been listening to lately?
My go-to is The Daily every morning when I'm doing stuff. But I also have been listening to just different podcasts, like the Bulwark, that, and really listening to voices that are, one of the things that we're really interested in is looking at the center and where are there spaces of overlap in this very hyper-polarized media environment. And so that's just one that I've been listening to and hearing, like, and listening for commonality across political perspectives.
Well, Renee, it was, very fun to speak with you. I know we have to let you go. Is there anything that you want to promote or share with our listeners about Pivotal Ventures? We can also share it with our listeners through our show notes. But is there anything?
The one thing I would say is the thing that I'm particularly excited about is that we've been getting more into the women's health space. Mm-hmm. And we launched a couple weeks ago a partnership with a group called Welcome Leap to really find breakthroughs in women's health. And we don't want to tolerate that women's health is just not a priority for any longer, or that women need to be in poor health. And so I'm just so excited for the possibility. We have a $100 million partnership with a group called Welcome Leap to make some real breakthroughs for women.
Well, Renee, thank you for your work. Thank you for being on the podcast, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.